Hello, Hey Boomer community. My name is Wendy Green, and I am your host of Hey Boomer. And Hey Boomer is a show for people who have retired, who are thinking about retiring, who don't really want to retire, but they are also saying, what's next? So, in every episode, we try to help you answer that question and be inspired. This month, our topic is transition. And we are talking to people that have made a change in their lives, that have transitioned to something new, and maybe more than once. And the goal of Hey Boomer is, like I said, to leave you inspired that this next chapter of your life can be one of the best chapters of your life. Hey Boomer is supported and sponsored by Road Scholar, the not-for-profit leader in educational travel for boomers and beyond. And they have trips in all 50 states and more than 100 countries. This July, I am going with Road Scholar to Glacier National Park, and I can't wait. We'll be led on hikes by some of the naturalists from the area. We'll do a boat cruise around Lake McDonald. There will be traversing the going to the Sun Road from the east and the west side of the park to get to different trails. And we are going to do a float trip down the middle fork of the Flathead River. This will be my second trip with Road Scholar, and I am so looking forward to it. You can find out more about the trips that Road Scholar offers to the national parks and to all of the other locations by going to road, scholar.org/heyboomer. That's roadscholar.org/heyboomer. Check it out. Are you tired of having to try to come up with what you're going to cook for dinner every night? Especially if it's just for one or two of you, the whole meal preparation has become a bigger deal. So I discovered this group called Real Eats, and I have been so impressed. They have lots and lots of choices. They pick some of the peak ingredients that are in season in the local farms in upstate New York, where they have their manufacturing factory. The packaging is recyclable and compostable, and the meals are delicious. Right now in my freezer, I have a home-style turkey breast with green beans and sweet potato hash dinner. I have turkey meatballs with fusilli marinara and broccoli, and I have a Greek chicken with broccoli and couscous. Simple. You just put the packages in boiling water. They heat up, and I'm telling you, it's delicious. So I'm going to put the link in the show notes. It's also on the social media sites. If you use the link that I give you, you will get 25% off your first order plus 2 free shippings. So check that out. And finally, the next What's Next coaching program will be starting on August the 2nd. This is a group cohort of no more than 6 individuals. We go through exercises. There's an assessment. We do group coaching. We have group discussion and accountability. It's an amazing way to look at where you are now, what's working for you, what's not working for you, where you want to be, kind of put together a 6-month and 12-month vision of what this next chapter is going to look like. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to heyboomer.biz/coaching. You can let me know that you want to have a 20-minute free consultation to talk about where you are and to, figure out if the coaching program might work for you. No obligation, no cost involved. So check that out. So let's start with a little inspiration with our never too old stories. I want to start with Jeffrey Archer. You might know him as a best-selling novelist. He is 80 years old, and he was once in the House of Commons in the UK. Listen to what he had to say about his writing career. He says, "I didn't start writing until I was about 38 years old. I had to leave the House of Commons facing bankruptcy, and it's not easy to get a job after something like that. So I sat down and wrote my first book, Not a Penny More, Not a Penny Less, based on the experience of how I'd lost my money. I've now been writing for over 40 years. I didn't know I'd be any good at it. And in fact, the first 17 publishers I went to turned the book down. Finally, Jonathan Cape printed 3,000 copies and gave me 3,000 pounds. But at the time, I was 440,000 pounds in debt. So my wife thought perhaps I should look for a real job. But I persevered, and I've now sold over 270 million copies of my books. I haven't needed the money since I wrote Cain and Abel, but I enjoy the thrill of being number one. I love it. I wouldn't be doing it at 80 if I didn't. My best piece of advice to aspiring writers is never to hand in the first draft. You've got to go on working and working. On my first draft, right now that I'm working on, I'm changing 3 or 4 words a page, so I know I'm getting there. I love the process, and the older I get, the more I enjoy having something to get up for every day. Find what you love. And our second never too old story is about Cleo Silvestri. She is an actress in films, on stage, and television. And most recently, Cleo started singing the blues under the name of Honey Bee Mama. Cleo is an African woman who is 74 years old. And when she started acting, being a Black woman limited the roles she could play. She says she either played a nurse or a prostitute. Casting has become more inclusive, according to Cleo, and she's not felt that her age has limited her opportunities. In fact, she had the lead role in Alan Bennett's play Alleluia in 2019 during their run in London before they shut down for the pandemic. But Cleo has always loved to sing the blues. Acting is how she paid the bills. Just before her 70th birthday, she decided she wanted to do something about her passion for singing the blues. So one day she got up and sang at a party. And from that moment of courage, Honey Bee Mama was born. And she now performs at venues and festivals throughout London. So go for that courage. And today, we're going to talk about cultivating courage as it applies to those moments that come up in life when we either say, oh, hell no, that is too scary. Or maybe we say, well, I got to do this. I just got to do it. And that's kind of how I felt at 28 when I had 2 small children. They were 2 and 4 years old. I had 1 year of college. And I was in a marriage where I was suffocating. I felt like I just had to get out. And having 2 children, I also felt like I cannot have my children think this is the way a healthy relationship should be. So I took that leap of faith. I put those kids in Head Start. I applied for every scholarship and grant I could find and went back to school and got my degree. And one of the proudest moments of my life was when I walked across that stage to get the diploma, and my parents and my kids were in the audience, and some of the professors that helped me through, because I'll tell you, there were times I was not sure I could do it. There were times I was not sure what I was going to feed those children. There were times I didn't even know if I was going to keep the heat on. But I persevered, and I dug deep, and I surrounded myself with people that helped me with that courage, and I got through it. There was a quote on Deb's website that said, "You learn swimming by swimming, and you learn couraging. You learn courage by encouraging." And I have to say, I have been practicing encouraging ever since. So let's bring Deb on. Hi, Miss Deb.
Hi, my goodness, you have me all verklempt listening to this amazing story of yours, Wendy. God.
Yes, what a time that was. But, we all survived and they're doing great. I'm doing great. And I am so glad to have you on the show.
I am really happy to be here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, let me tell them briefly about you and then we're going to let you tell us more about you. Okay.
Sure.
So, Deb Beroset is the founder and muse of Moxie Soul Spa. She has been an award winning journalist. She taught at the University of Missouri School of Journalism. She headed up Hallmark's internal think tank, and she was the PR executive at Landmark, a personal and professional development company. Deb is also a certified neurotransformational coach, and she left the corporate world behind to heed the call of her soul and started her own business. That's been over 5 years now. And Moxie is serving and connecting women across the country as they claim their own defining moments and consciously create how they tend their energy, nurture their spirits, and show up in the world as their unique, shiny selves. Yay!
There we go. All
There
about
we
the
go.
shiny.
It's all about the shiny, and you bring that with you, Deb. I want to let people know that you just told me at the beginning you're going to have a special gift, a special offer,
Yes.
giveaway.
Yes. Like I think the biggest giveaway I've ever done. I'm going to do today.
Oh my gosh. On my
You got
show.
me so inspired, Wendy.
I'm so excited. Well, we don't want to give it away yet.
No.
So let's start with, as I said, this is about transformation. You transformed from corporate to your own business. What was that like?
Holy cow. It was like it was about hitting a really, really like down low, face in the dirt kind of moment. Kind of like what you described, actually, where you just feel like, wow, is this what my life is now? Now, mind you, I had a great job, so it wasn't about that. What it was about was that my soul had been calling for something, and I had been like putting that call on hold. That caller was on hold for years, right? And it was really about, I knew deep down that there was something that I was meant to be doing that I wasn't doing. And it was really tough because I wasn't quite sure what it was, but I knew like there's some creative urge in me that is waiting to be unleashed. I want to make a difference in a way that's meaningful to me. And I also wanted the creative freedom to, any time we're in a corporate position, we are, needing to
Fit the corporate mold.
We have to play nice, play the game. That's part of the agreement. And, I needed to break the mold. So here we are. And but my point is, I think a lot of people, they see somebody like you, what you've accomplished, oh my goodness, she's a podcast host. She does this. She has cohorts. She has programs. I wish I could do that. Well, it comes out of this moment, like you just described, that is not all rainbows and unicorns and sparkles and shiny things. It is typically kind of a low moment, a sad moment, kind of a meh feeling, like, eh. And that's actually the good news, because that's pointing to something. And if we have the courage to look that feeling straight in the eye and listen for what's behind it, then we have clues. We have breadcrumbs to follow for our quest.
Yeah. So the defining moment for you was, I'm done? Or what was the defining moment for you that you knew you had to change?
Back then, at that yeah. So Well, so I will be real with you. I had gone through a divorce. I had been through a personal bankruptcy that year.
Mm.
I was doing a good job on my job, and it was a really demanding job. And in order to make ends meet, Wendy, I was driving for Uber and Lyft evenings and weekends.
Wow.
And so I remember, you know, picking somebody up kind of on a Saturday when I really kind of felt like, wow, I need a break. And I just remember thinking, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Like, why? Something's got to change here. Something's got to change. And so that moment, like I said, that's not a woo wee moment,
No,
it's
that
like
is not.
oh God,
Right.
it's more like that. But see, that's like the cosmic 2x4 hitting us in the head. Like, okay, you haven't been paying attention. How about this?
That's
And
right.
and it got my attention, and I thought, okay, this is my one and only wild and precious life. And if I'm going to work hard and even fail at something, let it be something that's calling to my heart right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I gave 2 months notice on my job and just thought, okay, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And
Good for you.
here we are.
That is a bold move and very exciting. And we're glad you did because we love what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I'm really glad I did. But,
It-
it was scary. It was
oh
scary.
gosh, I can imagine how scary. But it doesn't always have to be that everything's shut. You are going
No.
through another transformation now that happened very differently.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, we're going through a big transformation. So, in early May, my husband, by the way, I met my husband um like 6 weeks after I had that defining moment back in 2016. I
Wow.
met my soulmate 6 weeks later. Coincidence? I don't think so. But at any rate, so now here we are, the two of us, right? And
In
so
Chicago.
in Chicago. So he got COVID at the beginning of May, and then I got COVID. And so I'm sitting up on the rooftop recovering from that, and it really just had me stop, and do nothing but think. And I realized, wow, I am so yearning for, at this time in my life, I want to be surrounded by trees. I took off headphones and I gave the headphones to Chris, and I had this playlist going of bird song, which always lifts my spirits. And I said, I want to live someplace that sounds like this.
Ah.
Um, and here was the other thing. I realized I really miss my family.
Mm.
I have loved being in Chicago for the 8 or 9 years it's been, and it's been awesome for this season of my life. But it's time, to turn the page in the script of this movie. And so that conversation happened the week of Mother's Day in May.
Mhm.
And in 2 weeks and 2 days, Wendy, woo, we are loading a moving truck, and we are moving to the Atlanta area, and we have found a house that is surrounded by trees, and the birds come with the trees.
Oh.
And we will be within come on over for dinner distance of many family members, including some of our kids, which just feels really right to me right now. And that's
Yeah.
really the key. So that's a big move. Now, but courage isn't just needed for, these monumental life changes that we're talking about, right?
Right. Right.
I mean, I think everyday courage, as I like to think of it, is super important.
So
Super.
talk to me about that because you work with women primarily, right? Who are looking at some kind of transformation. What kinds of issues come up that require some courage that you talk to them about?
Well, there's this great E. E. Cummings quote that it takes courage to show up and become who you really are.
Mhm.
And that is the kind of courage that most of us are talking about. Now, what is that? People want courage for different things. I've had people say, I want to write a book, or, I want to be able to look and dress the way I want. Or, I think I want a purple streak in my hair, or the whole thing purple. There's fun things like that. But then there's also things, the root of the word courage is cor, which is the Latin word for heart. And
I
so,
didn't know that.
yeah, so one way to think about courage is that it's about speaking our mind and telling our truth.
Mhm.
So I'll tell you one way in which I have been cultivating courage is in being vulnerable in a conversation that means something to me. So for example, like with my honey bunny, right? So I'm somebody who will pretty easily do some daring type things, but the kind of courage that I personally find challenging to muster is to do something like share that, oh, you know what? That kind of hurt my feelings. I would sometimes rather die, Wendy, than
Yeah,
than
then be
have
vulnerable.
an emotionally vulnerable conversation. And so, honestly, but that's the key to having these kinds of juicy connections, not just with romantic partners, but, friends and family and clients. And, to be able to be real with people, that takes an everyday kind of courage.
It does, and I think, it's interesting, we get to this age, I'm gonna be 69 in August,
Oh my God.
and
You look
and
you-
well, thank you, but
amazing.
anyway, we get to this age and we think, by now I should have this all figured out,
Yes.
but right? But we still bring a lot of those childhood shoulds or expectations or what are people going to say, and as many layers of that as we have pulled off and worked on over our lives, it still comes up sometimes, and it's like, oh, so you have to pull in that courage to be able to go, I need to have this conversation with you. I don't
Yeah.
want to, but I need to.
I'll tell you, there's a really interesting thing, brain science related, that I only kind of put these things together for myself in the last, I don't know, a couple of years, which is, our brains are wired for survival. Our
Mhm.
brains like do not care about happiness, fulfillment. It's like the brain is saying to us, I'm sorry, that's way above my pay grade. You need to go to the soul for that. I'm here to keep you breathing and alive and well, right? So, but what has occurred to me is that that survival isn't just about keeping us physically safe. Being a member of the tribe and belonging to a tribe is also a piece of survival that's been wired into us since there were people, because we need our tribe to survive, right? So what I realized is that, oh, that's actually a survival instinct kicking in. Like, I don't want to do anything that's going to have me not
Mm.
be fully feel a belonging to my tribe or my person. I don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. And I think that that's often what's going on for us when we hesitate to let our true colors show, to
Hmm.
share our real feelings, to voice our dreams,
Mhm.
um, to share something that we're not quite sure of yet, that's still in the little seedling in the Dixie cup stage, Um,
Yeah, that's interesting. I was reading something earlier about the beginner's mind,
yes.
and I was thinking about our conversation, and I thought sometimes when we hesitate, when we get scared, it's because we have this belief from our experience that things are going to happen this way, and that's not the way we want it. right?
Right.
If we were able to cultivate a beginner's mind, like what would a child on the playground who was being, in some kind of compromised position, how would they handle it? They wouldn't have all that preconceived ideas. What do you think about that?
Right. Well, when I was a little kid in the playground, if I jumped and tried to reach the bar and failed, I didn't make it mean that I'm not meant to do that. It was like, oh, I didn't make it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Little kids, when they fall down, they don't say, well, clearly I'm not meant to be a walker. They just hop back up and try again. So I think it's to have some real grace for ourselves and to be a really friendly witness of the thoughts going on the scroll bar through our heads, like the crawler on the bottom of the news channels. I think we constantly have these thoughts growing through our heads like that. And if we could just kind of kick back and say, okay, what's being broadcast in my own brain right now? And see what the headlines are, that we can say, oh, that's not getting me where I want to be. What can I replace those with? But I'll tell you, the very fact of stopping and non-judgmentally noticing what we're actually saying to ourselves is huge.
It's huge. And when you notice it, then what do you do with it?
Well, so the first thing is to question the veracity of this, and to basically say, okay, what's another thought? It's basically creating a new neural pathway. What's another thought that I can tell myself that actually empowers me and that I can actually believe, like it's a believable, like I can get behind it. So, and then you practice it, and then you notice when the thoughts are going down a well-worn rut, and you say, oh, there we go again. Pick it up. It's kind of like, this sounds weird, like paper training a puppy. It's like you notice an accident starting to happen. You pick it up, say, oh no, over here, put it on the paper, pick it up, move it up. So it takes a while, but after a while, it hopefully for the puppy, becomes second nature. And we actually can start irrigating the garden of our dreams and desires versus having a storm sewer of water thoughts just going off into something that doesn't serve us.
See, in my experience, sometimes I'll get so wrapped up in an emotional feeling, right? That I know I'm having it. I know it's not serving me, and I can't seem to put it aside. But I found that if I have my people around me, my supportive people, right?
Yeah.
That helps me so much. And I think, what you and I offer with our coaching is being supportive people, helping you normalize those feelings.
Yeah, because they are normal. I mean, anybody who says they don't ever have those feelings is lying. And so, yes, I think it's amazing. That is so key, that we don't kind of retreat into our little cave and not reach out. And like you said, you don't have to be in a kind of a meh place. Even if you have a dream or a desire and you feel like there's this potential for something awesome, but you're just having trouble taking that first step, I'm telling you, being in a conversation with a friend, a guide, a mentor, a coach, a community, but it's important to be selective about that.
Oh yeah.
Because
talk about that.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, there are certain people in life who are, kind of a naturally coming from a lower energy bandwidth. Maybe they come from resignation or fear or frustration and that's just kind of where they are. Well, if you go to somebody like that and you're sharing this tender little seedling of an idea, it's asking a lot of that person to get out of the energy they're already in to get behind your dream. You see what I mean? So, nothing about them, but it's just not smart to go to that person. You don't want to go to the fridge for a hot meal, right? So you just want to be smart about this, and you want to talk to somebody who's going to be supportive. And I don't mean just like a yes, yes, yes
Right.
person, but I mean where they're coming from is love, not fear.
Right. Huge.
Oh yeah.
Huge. Because fear is what holds us back. And yeah. So what is that acronym? Fear is false energy appearing real, or false something appearing real.
I've heard it. I can't remember it,
Yeah.
but it's something like that. But yes, and that has to do with the brain perceiving danger where there may or may not be any danger. And related to that, Wendy, this is super important for people. There's another kind of danger that gets overlooked. So there's the perceived danger. Oh, what if I open my mouth and I don't share how I really feel? Oh, what if I, don't step up for the karaoke moment? I have yet to have my first, so that's still on my list, right?
There you go.
But at any rate, okay, yes, we're all very aware of the perceived danger of that. But the real question to ask is, what is the risk of my not taking
I love
this
that.
step?
That's right.
And, imagine, Wendy, what would have happened. And I'm asking this real question. What would your life be like now if you hadn't taken that risk way back when you did? What would
my life, I know, my life would be so small, and my children's lives would be so small, because I would have given up on who I was, and then I wouldn't have been role modeling for them who they could be. I mean, I just can't even imagine, Deb, what my life would have been like.
Yeah, that just gave me goosebumps, which is always a good sign. So exactly. And, so there's also a little bit of trust involved, trust in ourselves, trust in the universe, trust in the people around you to be there for you. And, I think of it like this, when the caterpillar goes into that little chrysalis, if you think about it, that's a pretty dark little place to be, right? It's a dark, constraining little place, I'm imagining, inside a chrysalis. And yet they go in, and I'm pretty confident that no caterpillar is going in there saying, well, that's okay. I've seen the instructional video on what's happening later, and I'm going to emerge with wings, and I'm going to be a beautiful monarch butterfly. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. So they just go into the chrysalis, and then after some struggle emerging, boom, they're a butterfly. So you had no idea what kind of butterfly you were going to be, a colorful one, as it turns out, right? But you didn't know. I didn't know exactly what I was going to be doing and how it would go. But there's got to be that just, okay, let's do this thing. And let's have the conversation. Let's get the purple streak in the hair.
Well, I mean, I think that's huge. You don't know, I mean, so many times I hear people say, well, but, I don't know what my dreams are. I don't know what my passion is. I don't know where this is going to take me. Well, you may not know exactly, but like you said, Deb, it's about having that trust that you need to do something. And
Yes.
you just have to trust that you're going to find the path. and take the step. And they're baby steps. You don't have to like jump in with both feet and both arms
No.
and no bathing suit. You know,
Oh,
just,
no bathing suit. All right. Look at you.
well, you know, if you want
Yes.
to.
Yes, exactly. I love it. Well, my good friend Pablo Picasso had this saying that inspiration exists, but only when we're working. And so that has really been borne out in my own life and in all the people that I work with, that you don't know what the book's going to be until you get into it. You don't know what the business is going to look like until you begin. I didn't know what I was going to do until I took a step, and you have to trust that it just kind of emerges.
It does.
Things come to you, but you got to be in motion.
Yeah.
And
willing to evolve with it as it goes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the baby steps are big.
Yeah. So tell me about Moxie a little bit more so that the listeners have a better idea of what it is that you're doing.
Yes. Well, I feel like I have been one of these people who truly found her groove in the second half of life. I'm past the 62-year mark at this point, and
look at you.
And look at me, all sparkly, and with you. And who knew, right? But the real point is, I get confronted and crazed, and I'm super happy. And so what I'm doing is I work primarily with women. I have male private coaching clients as well, but there's a membership, Club Moxie, where we have events every month. I have a guest come in. I do private trainings for the members. We have, like yesterday, we had a clutter clearing party, and I got my whole desk and papers filed. So it's like everything from really deep, soulful conversations to, okay, guys, let's hit it and get this done, right? So the membership is awesome. But I also have a 3 signature programs that I work with women through. The Moxie trilogy, and it's soul care. And then the second program is a new program. It's a new version called Awakenings. And that's where we really make the magic happen. And then in the third program, Greenhouse, is where we work together for a 4-month growing season. And you learn you get personal coaching, and you're in this awesome cohort of women making dreams and desires come alive with a passion project. So it's basically all about living your full-on bodacious life, whatever that looks like for you. And so it's, we tune into what does our soul really want, and we learn how to elevate our vibe. And then, the community's huge, related to what we were talking about earlier. So many people, myself included, it makes a huge difference for me, is having a reliable well to go to be renewed, refreshed, jazzed up, at a girl.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Heart to heart talks. There's nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
So, as you know, Hey Boomer is for those of us over 60 who are looking to live fully engaged lives, to stay relevant and meaningful and find a purpose. And so give me 1 or 2 takeaways you'd like to leave with the audience today.
Okay. Well, so one is that it's never too late to be the person you were born to be.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Another one would be, trust yourself. You're way bigger than you have any idea. And then the third thing is, boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. That is not my line. That's a Goethe line. But it's awesome. There's life gives big payoffs to those of us who are willing to take that step and evolve and grow. And I think that's why we're here, to evolve and grow.
Right. To be the person you're meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Love it.
we are evolving creatures.
Yeah. So let's talk about what you're offering to the group today as I show your email address, which is Deb at itstimeformoxie.com.
That's right. So I am offering a complimentary Moxie Shot of Courage kit. Now it's a virtual kit, but I'm going to have things in there like some exercises, some tips, a video of me walking you through some things, and then also some special curated music playlists. I've got a lot of tips in there about how to like get yourself revved and amped up. Okay. So
Sounds amazing.
yeah, it's super fun. And you ask my Club Moxie ladies, I love my playlists. They love them too. So send an email to me at deb@itstimeformoxie.com and put Courage Kit in the subject line. Now, here's the thing. In the email, I'm inviting you, dear person listening, to write me a little note and tell me what you want courage for. So first of all, the very fact that you are writing that is going to do something for you. But secondly, it'll have me customize something about your courage kit to fit what you want courage for. So there's a little bonus. But here's the big thing. Are you ready?
Da-da-da-da.
Okay. I am going to choose one person based on what you tell me you want courage for. I am going to choose one person and gift them the first program in my curriculum, which is the Soul Care Masterclass. It regularly goes for $797, and it's a 5-week program that alters life, and it's also super fun. And so one lucky person, and this is for females. If you identify as female, you are eligible. This is for one person to get that program as my gift for your listening to this podcast, being part of this great conversation, and sending me a note.
Deb, that is such an amazing offer and so
I'm
generous.
excited.
I'm excited. I'm going to send you an email.
Please do.
I want that courage kit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So send it to deb@itstimeformoxie.com and say courage kit. And when does the program start? Like, when do you need this all by?
The program starts July 11th. So if you want to be considered for the big prize, you need to get that email to me by the 25th
of June. Okay.
Of June.
All right. All right. So y'all send that email.
Send
Let's
that
all
email.
be courageous. We'll all be cultivating courage. I love it. You're wonderful. I've had so much fun talking to you. Thank you.
Oh, I loved it. You're so fun and easy to talk to. And I thank you for what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. And for what you're doing. Let me tell you who's coming next week. Her name is Danny Baker, and Danny is a retired clinical psychologist who decided one day that she wanted a farm. She loved gardening as a child, and she just decided she wanted a farm. It turns out that her partner always had this dream of having an organic farm. So they purchased a 102-acre former dairy farm, and they started farming. Right?
Oh my God.
Well, I know, right? In the 7th year of the farm, she learned about permaculture and edible landscapes. And so she started what she calls now the enchanted edible forest. I know. So maybe, I'm sure there's lots of birds out there too, Deb.
I'm going to be tuning in.
Yeah. So that should be a fun show. Please support our sponsors. Go to roadscholar.org/heyboomer. Look for the Real Eats link in the show notes and on social media, and connect with me for the What's Next coaching program that's going to start August 6th And be sure to send Deb that email about getting your courage kit. And thanks for tuning in today. I know your time is valuable, and to spend it with me and Deb has just been amazing. We've loved having you, and we've loved talking to each other. So we'll keep on chatting, Deb.
Absolutely.
And live with passion, live with courage, live with relevance. And remember, you are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. My name is Wendy Green, and this has been Hey Boomer.